Yeah? Oh, sorry. Yeah? All right, if you can kindly, can I ask you to please settle? It's a pleasure. Ordinarily, I would actually start there, but there is a fantastically bright light in the background, and when I stand in the middle of the stage, I am phenomenally dazzled, of course by your brilliance, but slightly blinded by that light. So I shall begin here with this very nicely branded podium. All right. Dear audience, dear speakers, are your phones on silent? There you go. That's the first instruction. Please make sure that your phones are on silent. A very, very warm welcome to those of you here in Brussels at this gorgeous palace of the Academies. And of course, those of you, I'm trying to pinpoint the right camera, those of you who are joining us online, thank you very much. Welcome to this Digital Ocean Forum 2024. It's the third edition. This year it's co-organized by the European Commission, by the Flanders Marine Institute, and Mercator Ocean International, all under the auspices of the Belgian presidency of the European Council. First, turn to the person on your left. Come on, you've got to be willing to do this. Introduce yourself and tell them what you had for dinner last night. And if you're on the end of a row, turn to the... Go on. Now, I'm not kidding. Do it, please. What did you have for dinner last night? I hope it was fish. All right. Fantastic. Shh. That's always when I let the genie out of the bottle with that one. It's very hard. I hope that the bubbling excitement and laughter that I heard, you will be as excited and bubbling with laughter for the EU DTO and everything that we are going to reveal about that today. Now, my name is Katrina Sickle. I have the privilege, really, the privilege of navigating all of us through this one-day event. It's going to close with a splash at 5 o'clock. It will close with a splash if all of your brilliant speakers stick to their timing. Look at this. Okay. That's a reminder, all right? A small aside, I had the pleasure of moderating for JPI Oceans 2 days ago. So lots of the juicy content that came out of that will hopefully nourish my moderating today. Now, we've got panel sessions, or as I prefer to call them, dynamic chats, because I have terrorized my speakers into being beautifully concise and dynamic, so I'm going to hold them to that. We've got keynote speeches from the Commission, we've got pitches from developing projects, so we're really going to go behind the scenes of the EU Digital Twin Ocean and explore the core infrastructure. And I prefer to express it more poetically, to explore the foundations on which it is built, and to which this incredibly diverse ecosystem of experts and even non-experts are going to leverage, are going to exploit, are going to nourish and use. And we're going to hear about them, their experience, all sorts of applications, their expertise. We're going to talk data, we're going to talk interoperability, the works. So a reminder, I think, for all of us that this isn't just for the researchers and the policymakers. This is for the student, this is for the fisherman, this is for the local authorities, this is even for the public at large, all right? And all of this, the whole goal, you know that, to meet the needs for a better understanding of our oceans, to better understand how to adapt to changing conditions, for the sustainable development, and so much more. All right, now I leave it because your opening speakers are far more expert than I. I just want to take a quick read of the room. Who is here, anyone here from the Belgian presidency? I love that. I love that. You straight up there. Okay. Anyone from Copernicus Marine Service? Oh, we even had a yes. Yes, and they are all sitting together apart from you, who is alone. Don't know why. Where are the policymakers? God, you really didn't want to raise your hand there. That was, look, so embarrassed, Mr. Klein, so embarrassed, and you're speaking later. Okay, who is drawn from the scientific and research community? Where are all what I call the boffins in the room? Great. All right. Be clever today. Here is from EMODNet. You're all on your own there. Okay, you're all on your own, but you are speaking, it's okay. NGOs, civil society representatives? Wunderbar. Okay, any local or regional authorities? Perfect. So we really do, I love that. Yeah, you've got more than one hat, haven't you? Here's my favorite question. Who will still be under 50 in 2050? No, not who will hope to be or who lies, who will actually be. All right. You are a fantastically diverse crowd. That's brilliant. Okay. How can you make your voice heard today? Very briefly. Okay, let me just get through this so you know, and then we can meet our opening speakers. Firstly, anytime on social media. Now we should have, that's the QR code. We've got all sorts of hashtags there. Important to know about this QR code, it takes you to the website for the event. And that website is a repository of all sorts of information for this forum. So let me be clear, that is for the forum. That's the website. So I'm going to give you a moment. And when you're up and in and ready to move on, kindly wave your hand in the air, enthusiastically. Very nice. Oh, that was kind of slightly merengue there. Do you do salsa classes, sir? Yes, I thought so. Okay, right, let's move on to the next slide, because how else can you make your voice heard? Through Slido. We will use the Slido app for polls, for word clouds, for the odd question or two. Okay, so there it is. Can you please just jump on Slido? I'm sure you're all highly experienced. Oh, event, maybe we can just go back to the last one. And we'll hold the Slido. Don't show any polls yet, because I just need to give them some time. What's the deal with Slido? It's got to be a sentence. Kindly. Okay, a sentence of a question. Say to whom it is directed. I want to say one very important thing, which doesn't happen at all events. It is clear we will not have the time, because we've got such a beautifully packed schedule, to take every question. We won't. I'm going to be really honest, because I also don't want our speakers to feel like that. Okay? So I will do my very best to create space, but if there are questions that go unanswered, they will be answered after the event. Okay? So just bear that in mind so you don't walk away annoyed or frustrated. All right? We do our best to balance the content that's coming at you and your intervention. And from time to time, I might even be able to take a question from the floor with a raised hand, but it is even more imperative that you keep it concise. All right, now we can test Slido, and then we can dive into the high-level opening session. Okay, let's do this. Why are you attending the event? It might be for all of those reasons, but what's the main driver? Is it the speakers? Is it the networking? Is it because you really, really, really need to fill in some gaps about the EU DTO? You need to know more? Is it the topics? Do they really resonate with you and your day job and your areas of interest? So what's your main driver for being with us today? And of course, for those of you online, I shouldn't forget you. And of course, for those of you online, do take part. Slido is also for you. Okay. I think a good balance of the two leading answers there. All right. One more. One more just to test your knowledge. Let's have a look. Let's ask you, what is a digital twin of the ocean? Let's have a look. Is it a virtual version of the ocean that helps the scientists to study marine environments without having to get wet? Ocean's backup copy, in case it accidentally deletes itself, which is a very Hollywood film scenario, I think. A sophisticated model that's tracking everything from fish migrations to mermaid dance parties. I would love to claim being the author of this particular content, but I am not. That goes to the commission, to Zoe and Nicolas. I love it. A digital replica of the ocean used for simulations, minus the seasickness and salty hair. Insta waves. I bet you were chuckling. How many vodkas, Zoe, had you had before you came up with this poll? All right. Okay, are we happy with that? We're happy with that answer? All right, let's dive into our opening session. Now, in this opening session, here we go. You can see we call it high-level interventions because this is all about the big picture. So I think you would all agree, and given this very diverse community in the room, all of the willingness and all of the efforts of the scientific community, all the demands of users and potential users is one indispensable thing to make this EU DTO rock. But political support is certainly the other. And we have 4 speakers who are going to bring that framing political opening to life, this leap in ocean knowledge and sustainable action. So can you give a very warm welcome to your first speaker, who is, of course, the Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education and Youth, European Commission, Iliana Ivanova. Very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ambassador Poivre d'Arvor, dear Mr. Hansens, dear Mr. Lamy, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to be here today for this significant milestone of our EU mission, Restore Our Oceans and Waters. We launched it to protect and restore the health of our oceans by 2030, because only if we understand them better will we be able also to protect them properly. And this is where the digital world comes into play. Imagine a future where the mysteries of the ocean are accessible without the need for submarines, where technology and innovation help us monitor and restore ocean health through real-time insights and also proactive solutions. Developing such systems may seem daunting. They require multidisciplinary data and also plenty of computing power. But we did it. And today I'm really, truly honored to unveil the first prototype of the European Digital Twin of the Ocean. This groundbreaking initiative has been catalyzed by an investment of 10 million euros to develop its core infrastructure through 2 EDITO projects, and also further bolstered by long-standing commitments to the European Marine Observation and Data Network, the Copernicus Marine Service, and numerous other research projects and infrastructures. The digital twin is underpinned by an annual investment of about 15 million euros per year from Horizon Europe for the period 21 to 24. And it is a testament to our dedication to bringing the knowledge gaps in how pollution and human activities affect the ocean, and also its crucial role in regulating the Earth, the Earth's climate, and also preserving our biodiversity. The digital twin of the ocean is not a static snapshot. It is designed to learn and also evolve, simulate, and predict future ocean conditions based on historical data. It will empower also users to smoothly access real-time data, run simulations, and explore potential outcomes. This will inform robust, science-driven decisions. And I'm thrilled to announce that also, as from today, this platform is accessible to everyone for testing, for using, or for contributions. It offers many potential opportunities. And let me give you just some examples. Researchers can delve deeper into the mysteries of the ocean and push the boundaries of marine science. Policymakers or industry leaders can harness this tool to make informed decisions that promote sustainable use of marine resources. Schools and universities can use the digital twin as a dynamic teaching tool, bringing the ocean's processes to life for students. Startups in aquaculture can use it to identify optimal farm locations that minimize environmental impact and also can mitigate risks. And citizens can engage with this platform to deepen understanding and stewardship of the marine environment. And these are just a few examples of how the digital twin of the ocean can be used. And today's forum will show you even more possibilities that are in development. But let me also underline that this prototype is a first step on our journey towards a comprehensive, accessible digital twin by 2028. Once it's up and running, the platform will become a game changer in ocean management, providing precise, real-time predictions essential for effective ocean management. It could even serve as a model for other environmental domains, such as biodiversity. However, the efficacy of these digital tools hinges on the quality and availability of data. That is why I would like to encourage you all, member states, regional authorities, private businesses and initiatives, researchers and citizens, to join forces in the observation of our ocean. We need to ensure that the data is shared and that related efforts are joined up. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can ensure that our oceans remain a source of wonder, inspiration, and above all, of life sustained for generations to come. Thank you all for your commitment and collaboration, and let's continue to make a difference for our oceans and also for our world and planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it felt like the greatest of English understatements there. It has plenty of computing power. It was a very good way of expressing it, I think. And what I pick up, and you all know, is that it's designed to learn and evolve, and data, the quality, the amount, the availability. And I know this is very critical, and I know this is an issue that's going to come up again and again and again. It came up a lot a couple of days ago when we were talking research and innovation with JPI Oceans, but that data, the cost of retrieving it, harmonizing it, and all of that is critical, and that will come up in our conversation. So thank you very, very much to the Commission. Let me just ask, who is in this room very excited about this launch today, about what it means? Who is excited? I'm not saying it's all perfect and it's all, there's lots to go, but who is genuinely excited? Thank you, John Bell, for your jazz hands. All right. So we have three further speakers. Our next, who I will invite to join me, is Johan Hansens, who is Secretary General at the Flanders Department for Economy, Science and Innovation. A warm welcome to him, please. Thank you.
Dear Commissioner, Excellencies, dear contributors, speakers and participants, and also those who follow online, let me start by thanking the European Commission, the Mercator Ocean International and Flanders Marine Institute for putting this event under the auspices of the Belgian presidency of the Council of the European Union. The digital and green transition should have sustainable development at its heart. This was one of the themes addressed at the Research to Reality, Digital Solutions for European Challenges in the conference hosted by the Belgian regions in February. We attach a very strong importance to making Europe fit for the digital age. Citizens need to be able to see that all the investments we make in stronger European digital capabilities are leading to tangible benefits in many different domains. The Digital Ocean Forum of today fits very well in this vision. So I am happy that Flanders, mainly through the Flanders Marine Institute, VLIS, is able to contribute significantly and effectively to the European digital capabilities in the marine domain. We supported and keep supporting VLIS to become a champion in open data and open science, but always keeping in mind the principle as open as possible, as closed as necessary, because the geopolitical landscape has changed. The OECD report, Understanding the Contribution of Flanders Public Marine Data to Society, published last month and based on extensive survey results, is a real eye-opener on an enormous variety of value change that open marine data repositories already enable today, not just in Europe, but globally. And this to the benefit of the entrepreneur aiming to de-risk an investment, to the retired teacher who is now undertaking citizen science activities, to the administrator trying to figure out the optimal marine spatial plan. These are all users that are already tuning in to available marine data systems from Flanders today. So let me express our gratitude to the European Commission for its continued trust in Flanders and VLIS to host the EMODnet Central Portal and the EMODnet Secretariat. EMODnet is now a valuable repository for marine data across many different teams. It is the combination of trusted data from different origins and the ability to embed those into complex models in a digital twin environment will allow users to take their use of data to the next level. The mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030 puts an urgency to making our digital capabilities really fit and capable to contribute to problem solving. The policy objectives and targets are very ambitious. Our capabilities should match those ambitions. While the infrastructure of a digital twin is being developed, good care should be taken to ensure that use cases can soon be deployed, that potential applications can soon follow. The 82 projects, which are the projects that are building the European digital twin ocean, can also provide transversal support for the relevant European research infrastructures and can be used in training contexts to increase the skill base of our blue economy workforce. It is also most likely that authorities will need to return to the question of securing that all relevant public data are finding their way to the data lake and that weakness in observation systems can be detected and remedied. I conclude by calling on all actors present in this forum to continue to join forces to make the digital twin ocean a reality, a success to foster the sustainable blue economy in all its diversity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you also, really warm thanks, heartfelt thanks to both of our opening speakers for being so beautifully concise, and also, importantly, for bringing examples to the fore right at the start, who these users are, who these users will be. Absolutely critical. And what I really liked about the many things that you just said there, Secretary General, was citizens need to see that investment, EU investment, is going into tangible outcomes. And what's great about this, I think, is in all the conversation, the fear around AI that's there, as well as the opportunities recognized, this is a really good example of where it has huge added value also for society at large. All right, we have two more opening speakers. The first of those is the French ambassador for the Pole and Oceans, and that is Olivier Poivre d'Avor. So a warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to see you, all of you. There has been some change in the Commission, not in the Commission itself, but the MP have changed, some of them. But I'm so happy to see you again, dear Commissioner Eliana, and to see also Pascal Lamy, our friend, the father of the Starfish mission, and at the occasion of this Digital Ocean Forum 2024. The European Digital Twin Ocean Initiative could be really a very essential tool regarding ocean knowledge and its sustainable use. Indeed, addressing this issue will be one of the key to face climate change and its consequences. In my quality of Special Envoy of the French President for the third UN Ocean Conference, which will take place, as you know, in Nice, organized with Costa Rica in Nice in June 25, this subject is also the utmost importance for France and a priority for the further United Nations Ocean Conference. Making this digital twin of the ocean operational is a strategic initiative, as tomorrow's blue economy will depend on our ability to share access to quality assured data and information related to protection of the ocean and its resources. So I hope really that this initiative will soon take place and take the form of an international organization which already brings together several European countries, France, Italy, Norway, Portugal, Spain, and the UK. We formally agreed to develop an intergovernmental organization for the development and the exploitation of the digital twin of the ocean and system information service. But we need really to open up this organization to other European and international partners. Working globally is the key of success to solve the ocean problematics. And in addition, it will offer member states the forum needed to develop joint strategies and the operational capacity to implement them. France has been a pioneer in this area for more than 2 decades. Thank you, Pierre, with this engagement in international cooperation exemplified by Mercator Ocean International. It is the entrust entity to develop and implement the European Copernicus Marine Service and the United Nations Ocean Decade Collaborative Center for Ocean Prediction. Mercator provides a global public service to monitor the ocean of today, predict the ocean of tomorrow, and to translate innovation in science and technology into decision support tools for managers, policymakers, and the large public. Also, my country is currently supporting the creation of what we call the International Panel for Ocean Sustainability, which will implement a scientific coalition and framework for advocating ocean sustainability by improving collaboration between the stakeholders. The Mercator DTO will provide information to the future International Panel for Ocean Sustainability, the IPOS. The development of the European Digital Twin Ocean, emerging from the intergovernmental transformation of Mercator, could offer really a brand new instrument in order to help IPOS in its task. Revolutionary technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, and digital ocean twinning will make possible testing scenarios and assessing their impact on the environment, biodiversity, or climate, and the effectiveness of mitigation and adaptation plans. They will also offer many blue economic opportunities supporting at the local level a sustainable use of marine resources. So this long-term project requires strong European collaboration. This is the reason why we work alongside the European Commission to contribute to this exceptional commitment, the Mission Ocean. In June 25, in Nice, we will have the opportunity at the next UN Ocean Conference to promote this core project for the protection of our ocean at the international scale and to involve willing and competent countries in the scope of international cooperation for ocean science. Indeed, this particular subject represents one of the three priorities of France and Costa Rica, co-host of the conference, along with the conclusion of ocean-related multilateral processes and the promotion of a more sustainable blue economy and finance. So never forget that there is a strength in unity and that we must be united to face one of the greatest challenges in the history of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And also for being so beautifully concise and also for underscoring the critical importance. And again, this is something that's going to come up in the course of our conversations today of being open to international partners and to joint initiatives, but critically the capacity to implement those. There's that side, isn't there, of the partnerships and the global context. But there's the capacity to implement, which is so very important. And I also, when you use the word twinning, I'd read an interview with one of the key scientists, forgive me for not remembering his name, one of the orchestrators behind the EU DTO, its core infrastructure. And I liked what he said. He said, we're passing with this from an understanding of the ocean to engineering positive outcomes for it. And I think that's obviously a very critical point to underscore with its added value. So, Pascal Lamy, you've already been spoken of by somebody far more expert than I, but I will ask you to come to the floor. Chair of the Board of the EU mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters, please, the floor is yours. Thank you. A warm welcome. Thank you.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me also thank the EU Commission, the Belgian presidency, the Flanders Maritime Institute, and of course, Mercator Océan for organizing this event. We know we have to act urgently in order to restore our ocean and waters. We know that we do not know a lot of what we should know in order to act adequately. We know that filling this knowledge gap would take several more decades in keeping using the exploration devices we've been using for the last 150 years. We know that this will be too late. We know that digital twins, big data and AI can be much faster to generate the knowledge we need. Hence, the EU Digital Twin of the Ocean, a flagship initiative launched as one of the many projects of the Starfish mission, the board of which I have the privilege to chair. It is a large chunk of one of the 5 legs of the Starfish, the one dedicated to knowledge, science, education. The 4 other ones are about pollution, protection, the blue economy, and governance. So, this digital twin is an unprecedented approach to create an open public good, an open scientific infrastructure, allowing the development of a myriad of new applications and services, including the development of the blue economy. It benefits from the unprecedented budget support. We've never dedicated as much money as that at EU and member state level to such a project, roughly 15 million per year, which so far have mobilized roughly 400 other millions of investments in these potential services. And it offers an unprecedented opportunity to aggregate not only various scientific hydrosphere-related approaches, but to bring in the loop social sciences and citizens' engagement, which is one of the purposes of these 5 EU missions from the research program. But of course, like many exciting, groundbreaking innovations, the EU digital twin of the ocean needs a proof of concept. And today's event is the first of a series of demonstrations on the way to the United Nations Ocean Conference in Nice 1 year from now, and we've just heard that from Olivier Poivre d'Arvor. As announced by Ursula von der Leyen in February 2022 at the Brest Ocean Summit, the EU will table its full-sized prototype by that time and offer it for collaboration at the right scale, which obviously is the planet, with a 2030 time horizon in mind. So, starting from 2022, delivering the first major EU globally usable prototype by 2025, and reaching the full-scale, hopefully, worldwide digital ocean in 2030. In so doing, and there's still quite a lot to be done, but we will see today that we are on the right track, I believe. In so doing, we will demonstrate that Europeans do not just talk about fixing our formidable environmental challenges and creating a set of new formidable opportunities, but that we also can walk this talk. Thank you for your attention.
This is your phone. You start, look. Should I? Can I keep it? Oh, thank you so much. That's nice. All right. I'm going to stop it there, otherwise it's going to record my voice. Look at that. But that's nice. You have my voice in your phone, right? Hey, could be worse. Could be worse. All right. Just to say, for those of you who are online, when there are small gaps in the stage, that's because we're climbing many stairs to get to this stage, all right? So when there's small gaps and there's no one on the stage, that is why. Thank you very much, Pascal Lamy. And I think the words that you most use there, and I think with deliberateness, is unprecedented. So let us reveal more and go more behind the scenes today of this unprecedented endeavor. Can I thank all of the opening speakers? You actually now, I'm going to invite you, you can leave the room in a moment, because I'm about to launch a video, but not yet, but you get to have a private demonstration, okay, of the DTO prototype, but you are but the precursors. I want to say to the audience, you will have seen when you've come in, you will also be able to witness that demo during the breaks. It is there for you, okay, in the same room. So when we have the lunch break and the coffee break, you can absolutely find out in more detail what this is all about. So I'm going to invite you you may leave the room with your posse, with your people, and as you do so, let's launch a video. This is a really lovely video. If you haven't seen it yet, really, you're going to enjoy it. Let's go behind the scenes and find out a little bit more about what this is all about.
We're here in Killinarn, a wonderful area of the country. We supply oysters and shellfish around the country, but also around the world. We're impacted a lot here by salinity. In particular, the last number of years, a lot of drainage work carried on, which has changed the character of the water, which has put the shellfish under pressure, and it's hard for it to survive. We've noticed over the last few years huge impacts from storm damage and tidal surges. In particular, last year with Storm Debbie, we had a 2-metre surge here in this area, which knocked the walls around the area, around the farmland, did huge damage in Kinvara to the shops and the communities there, and it has instilled a fear as to the power of the ocean. It makes you realise how small you are in the scheme of things when a 2-metre surge of water comes at you in the middle of the night and you've no place to go, only just get out of the way.
Fue como un maremotum. Boom. Una ola que vino y lo arrasó todo. Hay años, muchos barcos. Y aquí encima había barcas, pescadores, eso. Después varios días sin poder salir al mar. Es el trabajo suyo, es la comida suya.
Cuando has crecido delante del mar es una necesidad, que las islas viven del turismo. Nuestra principal foto en las portadas es la playa. Nosotros consideramos nuestro primer activo como recurso natural y como recurso económico. Para nosotros es primordial tener la playa en condiciones. Desde hace muchos años tenemos una pérdida constante de arena y nos preocupa porque el cambio climático hace que estamos viendo que está variando nuestra morfología de playa.
We zitten eigenlijk met een kwetsbare situatie hier langs onze Vlaamse kust. We zitten met een zandige kust, geen harde rotskusten. We zitten ook met een hoog getij, met veel stormen die op ons afkomen. Dus om de paar jaar doen we een veiligheidstoetsing om te checken van, ja, is onze ganse kust nog veilig? En dan nemen we ook maatregelen om die zwakke plekken te gaan wegwerken. Daarvoor hebben we ons masterplan kustveiligheid. Dat is een allesoverkoepelend plan die eigenlijk een pakket maatregelen omvat om onze kust te beschermen. Nu is het zo dat we ook in de toekomst kijken. Het masterplan rekent met een bescheiden zeespiegelstijging, maar in de toekomst na 2050 voorspellen ze grotere zeespiegelstijgingen, gaande van 1 meter, maar ook +2 en +3 meter zijn mogelijk. Vandaar dat we ook plannen moeten liggen hebben om onze kust veilig te houden, ook in de verdere toekomst.
Our ocean will be determinant in many of the things that happen in the choices that we have ahead on where we live and how our economy moves, our ecosystems, our energy, and how we deal with some of the risks that come from the climate change that we can have to adapt to in the future. So our understanding of the ocean is central to our understanding of our own prospects as a society and as an economy. And to understand the ocean, we need new infrastructure, new intelligence, new ways of understanding the dynamics in the ocean, so that real people in real places in Europe and elsewhere can make real decisions that will affect their lives, their economies, and their futures. And that's where the digital twin of the oceans comes in.
The European digital twin of the ocean will be a digital replica of the real world ocean, and therefore it will be able to reproduce any natural hazards or disasters that occurred in the past, but also those that might occur in the near future. And because it's a digital environment, it's actually a safe environment for stakeholders and policymakers to not only evaluate these possible scenarios, but also evaluate possible mitigation and adaptation measures.
Our work is very much related to the safety of the coast. Here at the Living Lab Riverside, where we built the artificial dike, we do a lot of physical modeling, but we didn't work with digital twins before, and we see that as a big opportunity to understand more about the coast. At the moment, we do a lot of studies. I mean, not only us, or the morphological point of view, but also people studying ecology, biology, or socio-economical aspects. And all this work have to be integrated in order to see the whole image.
The idea here is indeed to bring the fragmented pieces into one place, into a new shape and form, so that it can be accessible, available, readily usable for everybody. We need something that is unique, that is a game changer.
Edito will be transformative. It will allow users to log into one place to access data at high speed and run their numerical or machine learning models on those data sets. The data is being stored in a data lake in one processing center, and as far as we understand, it will be the only marine data lake of its type in the world.
Edito will play a key role in develop all the operational oceanography services because they will provide a fast and easy access to the information.
Edito is an infrastructure project. It is a collaboration between EMODnet and Copernicus Marine. The goal of the Edito project is to build a high-speed data access system that can be used by people who are building digital twins and who want to access EMODnet and Copernicus Marine data.
It has to be based on the best science, and Copernicus is connecting the space and satellite technology to ocean modeling, prediction, operations of forecast and analysis.
It will enable high-performance computing to be coupled with the latest state-of-the-art data and modeling facilities. But the foundation of this is data. And what EMODnet offers is the most comprehensive in-situ service in Europe.
We're using new high-speed cloud technologies to transform how people use our data products to develop new insights in the marine space.
It's a platform that invites you to share and contribute. It's a scalable infrastructure that will grow or shrink based on demand to ensure that users, their needs are constantly met.
He or she would be able to build his own digital twin of the ocean, nest it on the European one, and add coastal processes that are relevant for this particular location. It will really allow coastal communities to become more resilient against sea level rise and possible extreme events.
Coastal communities, they provide us the real needs of the digital twin application, since they are the ones that are living, the ones that are working, and the ones that face these effects of climate change.
Local communities are a key component in the development of models because no one knows the local characteristics of a region as the local communities know.
So we find working with the Marine Institute very beneficial, not just for the oyster restoration, but also for information that these models can provide. For example, last year we had the marine heat wave. The shellfish get stressed out, particularly if the temperature goes up 4 or 5 degrees, which was a real abnormality last year. But with the new technology that can be predicted at least a few days in advance, and it gives you some chance to protect your stock.
I think the models like the one we developed for Galway Bay are crucial for the development of a fit-for-purpose DTO, as these models are capable of accurately representing ecosystem dynamics. They can predict impacts of climate change in the bay. The future DTO can play a significant role in enhancing the services we provide to our local stakeholders.
Een digital twin zou natuurlijk een perfect tool zijn om heel snel te kunnen monitoren en evalueren hoe het staat met onze kust. Dan kunnen we eigenlijk veel korter op de bal gaan spelen en efficiënter ook gaan omgaan met de overheidsmiddelen.
And the co-design of digital twin applications is the basis of the digital twin concept. Digital twins is not a matter of just data, it's not a matter of just models. It's also a matter of society and also it's a matter of economy.
Digital Twin Ocean will allow us to make the decisions where to best place the marine renewable energy, where to establish marine protected area, how to ensure clean water for coastal tourism, how to develop the new type of blue economy.
It's designed to be open, it's designed to be co-creation, it's designed to bring people in, and fundamentally it's designed to be a tool for people to make decisions about their futures.
The Edito platform will be an enabler for scientists who are looking for insights on the challenges to the marine environment. And in time, they will take it for granted as just another tool in their toolbox.
Thanks to Edito, the European digital twin of the ocean will now become a tangible reality.
The question I have to ask the ocean is, when are you going to cool down?
What can we do for you?
How deep in here?
What's happening underneath?
How is my health connected to your health?
Is the Gulf Stream failing?
How can we help you?
We ask you some more patience, because in the future we're gonna work and live together much better than before.
an absolutely lovely video. Had anyone seen that already before? Is that for whom was that a first to see that video? Who would agree? Who was actually, gosh, at the end, very moved? Whew, when you're asking questions to the ocean, I kid you not, maybe I'm just very emotional for a Brit, but I was, woo! Who enjoyed that? I thought that was splendid, and I've seen a lot of videos, so I think that's one of my favorites thus far, I would say. Beautiful, okay, and very helpful for all the conversations that continue across the course of the day. Now, we've got 3 sessions before lunch, okay? Don't panic. They're not all 90 minutes long, all right? We will get to lunch at a good time. I know that this opening is all about doing a lot of listening, and thank you for that, but we really are going to explore the capabilities of the DTO and unveil, you know, this core infrastructure, go a little bit more behind the scenes, not in too technical a way, I promise you. So who better to kick things off than the manager of the EU mission, Restore Our Ocean and Waters, and of course, you saw him featured there, the Deputy Director General for Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. He is, of course, Kęstutis Sadauskas. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, and let me maybe first say that excitement for me probably would be an understatement of an emotion that I feel right at this moment. It's an anniversary of 2 years, a bit more than 2 years, when first we met during the first digital Ocean Forum in Paris, and it was indeed one of my first assignments in my new position as Deputy Director General of Maritime Affairs, as well as the manager for the Ocean Mission. And at that moment, I was really only discovering this unique out-of-box commitment that European Commission had made with the Mission Ocean to support the restoration of ocean and waters by 2030 and putting research and innovation at the service of communities across Europe. At the time, I knew little about this DTO, and only from the commitment that the Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen made in Brest just a couple of months before that. So we knew that we had to deliver something. What that will be was still an enigma and a mystery. I was at that time very eager to learn and curious to discover how this concept could support the common work towards the mission objectives and beyond. And 2 years have passed. I think it's fair to say that we have all lost count of many occasions that we presented the ideas to each other on the DTO, to different audiences, in many different occasions. I have also lost count of the meetings I had with technical, scientific colleagues in other services, with stakeholders, and asking questions myself and having to answer the questions of the others. So we as a learning process. What are we trying to build? What is the EU Digital Twin Ocean? Is it feasible? Is it going to be useful? Is our knowledge base good enough? Is our data sufficient? How do we catch up with the enormous progress in artificial intelligence or spatial data or any other developments that sometimes seem to bypass us? And another important question, what can we deliver in 2 years' time? And I'm here now today to help you unveil and discover the core infrastructure of European Digital Twin Ocean, which is the result of a modest investment, and in terms of the numbers of the figures, but not in terms of your time, and also 2 years of intensive work. And I want to take advantage of the occasion to share with you what I have learned through the process about what the European Union Digital Twin Ocean is. With the core infrastructure, the goal was to build the foundation and an interface. A foundation necessary to bring together all that we know about the ocean, all the marine knowledge that we have created through satellite, through field data, through research, through innovation, businesses, modeling capabilities, and new digital advancements. A foundation that will allow the marine community to build on this knowledge and create tailor-made applications that will capture the details of our coastal and marine ecosystems and provide us with a perspective. and an interface that will help make this knowledge accessible to its rightful recipient, us all, the users in policy, the users in blue economy and in society. They need to understand better what our future options regarding ocean are. The technical progress, the accessibility to data, the discussions on interoperability, on speed and strength of computing capabilities are, of course, at the core of the work of this core infrastructure. Others will tell you more about really what this most exciting project really is, what's the techniques of it, what it can deliver. But I want to draw your attention to another element that I deem also as important, and in the effort also to make the marine knowledge accessible to all. The EU Digital Ocean Core Infrastructure and this event we are attending today is really a proof of determination, of motivation, of willingness of the marine knowledge community to work together, to collaborate, to learn and to co-develop so that we can, as a society, harvest marine knowledge and use it to power a better future for us and for the ocean. I'm very impressed by this community which guided us, which was guided, in fact, by the core infrastructure, has worked tirelessly so that we can have today the foretaste of what the EU Digital Twin Ocean can contribute to our lives. I have the honor to unveil, and also the happiness to unveil today the core infrastructure, the foundation interface that it provides, and I'm even more excited to see with you the multiple demonstrators of what this core infrastructure will bring together. The demonstrations with a tangible use, for example, on monitoring and understanding pollution at the global and local level, on coastal resilience, increasing the safety of coastal communities, forecasting hazardous events, examining adaptation practices, on managing aquaculture and fishing activities sustainably, on using nature-based solutions to protect our oceans, on using models to understand if we are achieving our environmental targets and commitments at the European and international scale, on using visualizations to explain better marine spatial planning, increase ocean literacy for all, and developing an ocean culture, and more, so much more that we will have no time probably to even show today. For me, the true value of embarking in the development of the EU Digital Twin Ocean is really the creation of this community. Community is composed by you that works together towards the common goal of describing and understanding the ocean, its biodiversity, and most important, its interactions with us, with our societies, our economies, our way of life. And repeating, of course, this popular wisdom that if we want to go far, we have to do it as a community, just as we've done here. And this is what is happening in the EU DTO. And for these reasons, I have really the great admiration and gratitude for all the people of this community. So thank you very much to all of you. Thanks a lot to Vlies, thanks a lot to EMODNet, to Copernicus Marine, to Mercator, to my colleagues in the Commission, to many of you who have contributed to all of this. We live really at a turning point. Our political and social priorities are shifting, and we face challenges that are testing the very nature of our humanity. The sustainability of oceans is a highly political issue, and as we're waking up to results of European elections, we have to see that indeed the ocean, the future of the ocean is very much connected with its prosperity, with its security, with its health, and that's really our future as well. The creation of this twin is a recognition on behalf of European Commission and of this political priority. Before I give back the floor to the actual demonstrations, really the most exciting part of today, and to the very interesting discussion interventions that we are going to listen to today, let me make you two final remarks. One is first solid the first solid basis for everything that we're doing here today is observation and data. Investment in technological developments is key to create the powerful engine, but data really is the fuel that will allow us to take further than we have ever been before. And to this end, the Commission commits to the sustainability and further development of European Marine Observation and Data Network, EMODET, which is really, really at the spine of the whole thing, but also improving the coordination of the ocean observation. And the second, the unveiling of European Digital Twin core infrastructure today is only a first small step to what European Commission wishes to achieve with this initiative. Under the powerful framework of the Ocean Mission and its objectives, we will try to bring the new solutions to all challenges, and I hope that all of you will join this journey and really be part of this incredible community. Probably to rephrase something that was said by Neil Armstrong, indeed, it's a small step for this community, but I'm pretty sure it's a very, very big step for the ocean, because we are really opening a new page here, and I'm sure June 13, 2024 will go down in history. Thank you.
Thank you, and absolutely, all of these, I'm just picking up a pen here, just a moment, so nobody trips on that. There is a lot of exciting, you said it there, literally hearing what's been going on behind the scenes. You know, what are those potential applications, projects that are developed under the DTO infrastructure, and we're going to hear from a couple in a moment and one that has already been integrated. But before that, we're going to hear just in a little bit more depth from one of those interviewees that you saw in the video. That's Pierre Baurel. He is CEO of Mercator Ocean International. So this is the organization which is implementing the Copernicus Marine Service. So he's going to put a bit more of the meat on the bones on this Edito Infra project and that incredible infrastructure. So perhaps I can invite you now to come here and join us. You can give him a warm round of applause. I think he needs it. He's been working very hard. Just to say, I actually did say to him, because I'm terrorizing everybody into their minutes, this must be a very exciting moment, because when we spoke just before, you said, Kat, 2 years, my God, the depth of what's been going on behind the scenes. There's been so much work. How are you feeling at this event?
Proud. I'm proud of this community and what we can do all together.
Yeah.
Wow. Pride.
Thank you. So tell us more, because, what we saw in the video, we need to find out more what's going on behind the scenes. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you.
I just want to say one word. I'm just back from Costa Rica, where there was an international conference on the ocean. Charlina Vicheva, the Director General of DG Mare, was there. Ambassador Pavlodavor was there. European leaders were there. Europe is a voice that counts in the world when it comes to the ocean. And myself, I talked to the guy in charge of the marine protected area of Coco Island, just between the Galapagos and the continent. 500,000 square kilometers to protect. Illegal fishing, pollution, monitoring the change, etc. And this is the largest transnational network of MPAs, protecting whales, turtles, sharks. And this guy, this operational guy, is a scientist by training. So he knows about the satellites, he knows about the in-situ observations, he knows about the models, he has colleagues that are scientists, but he knows also that if he has in the same day to fight against illegal fishing and then monitor the heat wave, there is some difficulty to access this information on time. It needs resources. And this is really where the digital twins of the ocean come into play. This is exactly what we are doing. I mean, bringing together the best information we have about the ocean, continuously improve this, feed with best science, and making it accessible to everyone when and where it is necessary. And we have a huge responsibility in Europe because we are rich. We are rich of our terabytes of ocean data, our research programs, our well-organized data providers, and rich of our experience, because we know that if we want to convert all these things, not in sparkling demonstration, but in something that is really operational services, we need to invest in engineering and prepare the hidden part, which is the computing, storage, networks, these software infrastructures. And we were lucky because it has been understood at the highest level of the European Commission. The decision has been taken very, very fast. It has been very fast. And we, as a community, Marine and Digital, we have responded very, very clearly. And Kestudis mentioned the Paris meeting and then Brussels meetings. And we have co-designed together something that is, I believe, unique in the world, which is this operational and inclusive platform. And this is what we have done in 2 years. So this is what we have today. Just to illustrate the operational part, what we have today is this kind of things. Just to say that there is a single entry point, and with this you can enter into a super space when you can navigate in the EMONNet database and Copernicus and access AI-driven tools or launching simulations, knows what will be the risk of the plastic, and etc. And any users can now access that. It means that this is operational. It's fantastic, and it's unique. Frankly, this is unique. And thanks to that, we can have the foundation, and we have what Europe can do, what the European Commission can do, which is to invest to have these service infrastructures. You can have this kind of map generating on your own now. This is operational, and it's the first time in history that we have this. And the guy in Costa Rica, now he can access this and generate the tools if he wants. But when we were working together, we said it's operational and inclusive. And in the second Digital Ocean Forum, you have designed this service offer. You said, okay, this is create, you can explore the data, you can create the data, and then you can contribute. Explore, we understand, we get the data. Create, you can generate your own things. Contribute is very, very, very important. Because with the contribution of it, does it start again, the video, or it's only me? Okay, you see the same than me? We are starting again with the things. Okay. What I would like to illustrate is that now that we have this operational database, that is the hidden part, we can invite anyone to contribute. And we will build what is the image of the European Digital Twin Ocean. And you will see this image. I think this is the best we have to keep in mind. It's after this one. Explore, you understand? You enter this, you can get access to the EMONNet data and to anyone. And this is also interconnected with all, in principle, it will be interconnected with all the platform or digital twins at the national level, at the, for other disciplines, for instance, Destination Earth, in other continents, for instance, the DITO UN program. With all this platform, now we are ready for everything. But my interesting part is the contribute, because this is this that I would like to see. The fact that our EU DTO is a mosaic of contributions. And this is really the image I would like you to keep in mind when we are thinking, okay, behind the scene we have now this operational engine, this super software that means that it is possible. And it is thanks to the European Commission's power to build such infrastructures that it is possible, but it will be thanks to the European community that it will become a living tool, impactful tool, made of the contribution, the tools, the data, the know-how, the skills, the different demonstration that we could make from everyone. Anyone should be able to contribute and form what is really the value of this European digital twin, which is the knowledge of everyone. And thanks to that, I mean that all the demonstrations or all the experiences that we have that were developed on isolation, for instance, the maritime spatial planning. I mean, we have lots of very good professional people working in this area. If we could bring this experience on this EU Digital Ocean platform, then it means that it will be shared, and we will learn by sharing. And we will learn from all these days from different persons illustrating what will be the different pieces that will be put on this mosaic. We'll start with Simon, Sarah, and Kelly. They will provide examples, and then we will progressively during the days see how this EU DTO is becoming a living tool, impactful tool, thanks to this. So keep in mind that we have this super engine behind, this super engineering, this super software infrastructures. Be proud of it, because it is thanks to the European Commission that we have this. And please make your best to fill this, to populate this digital platform with all the contribution that could have, so that we have this impactful EU DTO. And with this, I would like really to give the floor to Simon. I think you're the first, and then Sarah and Kelly. But maybe this is your role, not mine.
First of all, thank you. No problem. Actually, what I was going to do is, we've got all of these empty chairs. Can I ask the three of you to come up? I think it's nice to be there, present a united front. And then, Simon, I will bugger off, as we say in English, and I'll go and sit in a chair. So do you want to come and sit in the two chairs here? Come with me, please, ladies, into this living room. Here, that would be delightful. Okay, now Simon, as I said, here is Simon. He's a biophysical oceanographer at Mercator Ocean International. What do you do in your day job, Simon, in a couple of sentences?
I develop models, I look at visualized data and try to make it as available to everyone as possible.
Okay, and you are talking, so this is a project that's developed under the DTO infrastructure, and it's really demonstrating the usefulness of the system, safeguarding marine environments and coastal communities from plastic pollution.
Exactly.
The floor is yours, sir. I think, and you've got, do you see that timer? You don't have 10 minutes, you actually have 5, but that will help you. Can you see it from there?
Yeah, I can see it. It's a starter. So today I'll take you through an application developed under the European Editor project. It aims to combat the marine plastics by providing scientific evidence to decision makers. So plastic is a global concern in the environment and severe impacts on the economic, cultural, environmental, and public health risks. So in 2021, 70 to 200 million tons of plastic is estimated to be in our oceans. It's huge, and equivalent with such weight would cover the entire surface of Belgium with plastic bottles. On top of this, annual emissions are projected to double by 2030, and despite the ambitious government targets. So from fragments to cosmetic microbeads and fishing gears, plastic can be found absolutely everywhere, from the surface all the way to the most remote places of the oceans, like the Arctic or the deepest trenches of the ocean floor. So we know plastic enters the ocean mostly via river or coastal urban area, but once in the ocean, the currents can transport it over long distances. Now, ocean currents in their variations can make the ocean a giant interconnected place. So plastic that enters the ocean in North America can litter the Arctic region and Europe and vice versa. So when it comes to safeguarding a particular place of the ocean from plastics, assessing the origin of this plastic is really not straightforward. And this is where the European Digital of the Ocean comes in. In the case of tracking plastic, this new platform enables users to access the latest state-of-the-art simulations and have the capacity to play out risk scenarios. And in order to do this, the European Digital Twin of the Ocean relies on ocean datasets that document how much plastic is entering the ocean, whether from rivers or from the coast. But more importantly, on the numerical ocean model based on the Copernicus marine products that digitally reproduces the ocean currents, the effect of winds, wave and tides on the movement of plastics. So we're able to simulate the pathway of plastic once in the ocean, with here in green plastics originating from rivers and in red from coastal areas. We're able to anticipate how much plastics where it accumulates, and also for any particular region of the ocean, better assess the origin of this plastic and how long it took to get there. And we're also able to create what-if scenarios to play out different management strategies, such as beach cleaning operations or reducing river emissions. But more importantly, because plastic is a global problem, and the plastic is very much a local impact, the importance that such model need to be able to embrace both aspects. How? By providing fine knowledge at very local level, but everywhere in the ocean. So here is how it works. So this example will show you how we can determine the potential origin of plastics found in a particular area. So first, we launch the application from the platform. We can then select a region from a map. So it can be marine protected area or European exclusive economic zones or even a user-specific area. In this example, we'll take the European island of Madeira, and we can just run the simulation and gain access to potential origin, associated weight of plastic, and travel time. So we see that Madeira is strongly Southern Europe is strongly connected to Madeira, with a total estimated emissions of 65 tons, taking around 9 months to make the journey. So a huge amount. Other sources, more distant ones, are in North America, with plastics taking from 1 to 2 years to make the journey, and emissions are mostly from rivers. So now that we know the current exposure to plastics of the island of Madeira, we can play out different management strategies and evaluate the impact of those actions on local pollution. For example, we could think of a European effort to cut coastal emissions by 60%, or instead thinking of a European effort to cut riverine emissions by 60%. Now, for the case of Madeira and a hypothetical European effort, we can see that acting on coastal cities and beaches may prove to be a better potential action than acting on river discharges. And such actions impact on 22 tons for coastal emissions instead of 5 tons for riverine emissions. So this is just a little example, but such application can be used by a wide range of users, from the local decision maker to the international policy maker, and provide support for a number of important programs, such as the EU Marine Strategy Framework or the Global Treaty on Plastic once ratified, or Sustainable Development Goals, number 14, amongst others. Thank you for listening.
Do you want to stay? We'll do a bit of musical chairs. Yes, I brought you all up here and then realized that, I don't know, can I just say to the technicians, if you're not aware, the clock stopped in the middle and we don't get to see what's on there on here. So that's not a huge problem, but if you can fix that, and especially the timer, that would be magnificent. All right, Kelly Johnson, what do you do? What's your day job there? What are you doing at Heraeon?
Yeah, so as a scientific project manager, I'm in charge of some more of the coordination of these projects and keeping an eye on the end results and the deliverables that our scientists are working so hard on to coordinate all of this together.
What's the best bit of your day job?
Oh, getting to see how everything fits together. There's quite a lot of work that goes into it, and you guys are all doing such wonderful things, so it's very exciting.
Fantastic. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to introduce today an application to support nature-based solutions against coastal hazards, and I'd like to specifically talk about the example using seagrass to protect our vulnerable coasts. And so this application today is going to be discussing, similar to what Simon just presented, using this application to be able to test how to use seagrass in order to, as a coastal protection measure. And I'm not sure if the video will begin.
Maybe they're having a few little, every event has some issue, right? You can't even hear me, so there you go. Every event, there we go.
Awesome,
all right.
Thank you. So about 40% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers of the coast, and coastal vulnerabilities such as erosion, flooding, and biodiversity loss are only getting worse with climate change. And typical coastal protection measures include what you can see here, often physical barriers such as seawalls. And we'd like to explore a different approach using nature-based solutions such as seagrass meadows to reduce erosion. They can also reduce wave height, and they also serve as a carbon sink. And so our Edito application is using this coastal protection strategy, and we can figure out the specific conditions that one could use to plant such seagrass meadows as an option for coastal protection. And we use advance modern technology in order to do this, combining coastal models in addition to observations from the Edeto data lake, in addition to artificial intelligence augmentation, to be able to create things such as specialized risk maps in order to see the impact of this coastal protection strategy. And this can be tailored to your specific needs in the world, whether you're in Europe using seagrass or off the coast of Ghana with mangrove forests. And we can empower decision makers working to protect our coasts with the possibility of creating these risk maps. And so this is the application. This is how it's going to work. We're going to be able to create what-if scenarios in order to test the impact of nature-based solutions such as seagrass meadows on coastal vegetation and coastal protection. And so in this application, we're going to be able to create our own scenario in order to tailor it to our specific needs. And first, we are able to choose our environmental conditions. As you can see here, we can choose the sea level rise. We can choose if we want to explore within a storm period or a period of fair weather. And we can also select then here our area of focus from the map. And for this example that I'm going to show you today, we're going to be focusing on the Wadden Sea, which is off of the northwestern coast of Germany. And we can also configure then the specific vegetation that we're going to be working with. For example, we can configure the height of the seagrass, the vegetation density, and we can also configure how far the vegetation that we want to plant actually extends outward from the coastline, so from the shore all the way out into deeper waters. And so once we have our setup here configured for the seagrass that we want to explore, we are going to be able to submit that with a single click. And in the background, this scenario that we've created custom is going to be compared to a scenario without seagrass in order to see the impact. And one of the results that's going to be available is, of course, the seagrass distribution. So the areas here shown in darker greenish blue color, you can see that is where the extent of seagrass lies in our scenario. And we can also see the effect of seagrass planting on wave heights. So the areas of darker blue that you see here are areas that have a reduced wave height, which have an impact on, for example, coastal flooding mitigation. And another example that users will be able to take a look at is the effect on sediment. So the areas that you see here in blue are corresponding to areas where there's less erosion taking place due to the planting of the seagrass in our custom scenario. And this, again, has a very important impact on planning coastal protection against erosion, for example. And with the use of artificial intelligence augmentation, we can take this one step further and be able to actually predict this, and so create these risk maps in order to enable our policymakers to, to really be able to protect our coasts in specific scenarios based on seagrass planting in order to reduce the wave heights and coastal erosion. And so this is actually going to be applicable to many different types of users. So of course, for example, so from the higher levels at the European government levels, coastal protection managers wanting to protect our coasts, to national agencies looking to secure the future of their nation's coastlines. And also, of course, then this extends to the citizen scientists interested in many things, for example, also coastal ecosystem restoration. And so this is very, this has the potential to be very impactful for planning for coastal protection using this particular strategy of nature-based solutions. So thank you all very much.
Brilliant. Kelly, you can switch there just for your own, no, that's okay. Kelly, you have the, come, Sarah. No, Kelly, sit, sorry. Sarah, come, I was just gonna beg your pardon for my confusing you. You have the smallest notes in it. Just show your notes, look. For the myopic among you wouldn't manage with that, would you?
It fits in a pocket.
Huh?
It fits in a pocket.
Nice. What I really loved, I mean, apart from the fact that it's so brilliant to see, and as Kestutis said, to really see what this means in action, is that when we saw there the map, the comparison of the erosion, to actually articulate this is a nature-based solution. Because sometimes I think nature-based solutions, yes, we all know about it, you all know about it, but more meat on the bones sometimes of showing exactly what we mean in the different settings, whether they're urban, whether they're in this setting is critical. And it was so helpful to see that. So thank you very much. Now, this is a project that's already been integrated. Am I right? So we have here Sara Pitonet-Gayarin, who's a senior project manager at Trust IT Services. Is that right? What do you do in your day job then?
Well, actually today I'm here as coordinator of the Blue Cloud initiative, which is one of the flagship open science projects in the European framework today, supporting marine research. So I'm very glad to be here.
Okay, and yours is something nicely different, unraveling marine food webs towards marine biodiversity conservation.
Exactly.
Correct?
We're starting from plankton dynamics.
Take your time, the floor is yours.
Thanks. So effective conservation policies need information on marine life movement. I think the video can start, please. Yeah. On marine life movement or site fidelity. And plankton dynamics can help retrieve...
Do you want to wait for it to start?
Yeah, plankton dynamics can help retrieve this information. Plankton is the foundation of the entire marine food chain. The health and productivity of marine life rely on plankton. Plankton is composed by phytoplankton, which contribute to the biological carbon pump by sequestrating carbon and releasing oxygen. And phytoplankton contributes to 50% of the Earth's global photosynthesis, while zooplankton, which are small animals, eat phytoplankton and become food for fish, crustaceans, and other species, including mammals and whales. So we've heard that there are a myriad of instruments and sensors that allows us to retrieve data from the ocean today, from satellite observation to instruments positions under the water. And all together, and when combined with modeling capabilities and digital technologies, they give us a terrific power to develop applications to monitor biodiversity and marine biodiversities, from species distribution patterns to movements to essential habitats. In the Blue Cloud virtual research environment, in the Blue Cloud Zoo and Phytoplankton Laboratory, researchers have developed services to assess the state of plankton communities in the North Atlantic. Users can access gridded maps of zooplankton abundancy, as well as visual maps of phytoplankton based on temperature and salinity data, so to have a full picture of plankton dynamics to monitor biodiversity patterns. This can be used to develop applications that are crucial for informing global strategies such as the Biology Beyond National Jurisdiction Treaty or the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. An example of such an application is the Wildlife Tracker, a geo-framework for the assessment of marine mammals in marine protected areas that was first developed during the Blue Cloud Hackathon in 2022. The tracker retrieves information from different sources, from satellite constellations such as Argos for animal tracking, up to Copernicus data for biophysics information. A visual dashboard allows to visualize the movements of the mammals in the given area. And these data have been combined with the data on phytoplankton coming from the Blue Cloud Zoo and Phytoplankton Lab, with information on phytoplankton different level of depths. And these data are also available as a global 3D plankton concentration available in the catalog of the Copernicus Marine Service. So this application is an example of tools that can be given and used by authorities, for instance, managers of marine protected areas, to understand the relations between the hotspots, abundancy, and of phytoplankton, together with the movements of the animals and the megafauna, and plan the limit and further protect marine protected areas, for instance. The application is now being adapted for the digital twins of the ocean platform, so to have it available and have its data sets available for the global research community and to be used for other uptake or other regions. And here I like to read the quote from Brian Vallejo, the CEO at GIS4 Wildlife Movement Analytics, who first developed the wildlife tracker.
And brilliantly delivered. I know that you, that's a lot to say. You all did it most magnificently. What are you most excited about?
Well, it's actually seeing all the process through. I mean, starting from the research, seeing them applied into something that is concrete, is actually working, and now hopefully will evolve in something even for a broader use. So.
And one question, just for each of you, and I shall release you because we will go into one panel session, a nice dynamic panel session before we break for a goodly lunch, all right? What was I going to say? Yes, data. So, data. Critical. If you want to wave that magic wand for one obstacle, I ask the same question to all of you, to gathering the data, the quality data, the diversity of data that's needed, what would it be? What would you want to see? What change would you need to see to ensure that this brilliant platform is going to be nourished in the way it should be?
More than change continued, I think the work that researchers are doing in harmonizing the data that are gathered by different sources is fundamental, and the quality control behind the data, and ensuring that there is one unique language also among the different types of data to be then used. Because I mean, producing these maps or information on the global 3D phytoplankton concentration, for instance, is not a job that only one data producer do. So that's yes. The difficult part. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything to add there? So not necessarily change, but more of the same. Any thoughts, Simon?
Well, the simulations we're running are based on how much plastic enters the ocean, and these come from scientific studies. But the citizens are the ones that are on the coast in every locality that the scientific study cannot represent except from some modeling. So if we have citizens on our side that can actually verify or validate the sort of input that we have in our models through the DTO, that would be a magnificent contribution.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'd also like, I agree with that. I think this sense of collaboration is what's really most important, because we want this to be applicable not just in certain small areas, but really to be able to be applicable wherever you might need to use it. And so I think this collaboration and continuation of this work efforts together is very important, yes.
Thank you very much. Sorry for the photographer and those of you online. You've got a bit of a disparate shot there, but I just wanted to keep you with me momentarily. Warm thanks. Brilliant. For demonstrating to us how exactly the EU DTOs, those applications that are so critical, those real-world applications, and open to all kinds of different stakeholders in all kinds of different ways. Warm thanks to you. You may take your seats. Thank you. All right, are you good? Do you need to stand up, turn around, spin in your chairs, do a Mexican wave, wave at me? Do you need to do something? Are you still with us? You're going to get food and drink soon. I think it's been highly entertaining, informative, kind of eye-opening, emotional thus far. Who would agree with those 4 words? Oh, yeah. Yes, we should clap. This is a celebration, for sure. It is a celebration, and of course there is going to be overlaps in what you hear. There is going to be overlaps in the messaging. You are going to get speakers saying some of the same things, but we are going to go behind the scenes and do more than scratch the surface in our discussions. This first one, tries to tie together a lot of these threads that have come from these opening speakers to really articulate how the EU DTO is a real game changer. That's what we're calling it, a game changer for ocean knowledge and action. What's so special? What's its added value? What do we need to make sure it stays a game changer? So can you give a warm welcome? We have 5 panelists in this session. I may ask them to join me on stage. Kate Larkin, Thomas Klein, Marie-Laure Grégoire, Carlotta Muniz, and, 4. Did I say 5? Who have I missed? Oh my God, that's terrible. Look. Okay, Margherita, you're here. I just wrote it badly in my script. Margherita Capelletto, very warm welcome to you. You can give them all a round of applause. All right. Okay, I'm going to say the minimum of the minimum of the minimum. I hope the iPad works and I can find it easily. So what we're going to say is, if there's one or two questions, we will really endeavour, I will read the energy in the room with these good people, put them in Slido, keep them short and sweet. That also applies to you, our online audience, and I will endeavour to take perhaps one question from the floor, just to make sure that you are alive, alert, and implicated in this conversation. Okay, before we start, I think it's always helpful for you to see what the audience thinks about the topic on the table. So that might be good for you, because we will look at the result live. So can I ask you just to use your thumbs? Audience, use your thumbs. If you can be on Slido, there is a poll, and it's asking in which sector you think digital twin of the ocean can make, or digital twins of the ocean in general can make the greatest difference. So just momentarily, we will ask which sector. Now, we're not managing to see Slido here, but if you really want to crane your neck, you can. Sustainable blue economy, is it all about ocean literacy? Is it the MSFD? Is it maritime spatial planning? Or is it the ocean sciences and research? What most resonates for you? And at the moment, it's maritime spatial planning. But let's give it a moment to settle. Ah, now you can. That's brilliant. Thank you for fixing that. That's very helpful for you. Okay. Any surprises there? What would you have voted for? Anybody would like to comment on the outcome of the poll? I'm happy. Would you like to say a word? Oh, you've been so traumatized by me into being concise. No one is speaking. No? Yes, Margarita?
No, I think I would have expected the maritime spatial planning as a first scoring. I think it's a sort of very direct connection of the application of the DTO as enabler for viable spatial planning.
Okay. Anybody else? Thomas?
Yes, thank you. I would say I'm not surprised to see maritime spatial planning here on top of things, but of course it also provides us with the basis for the sustainable blue economy. So things are connected, so it's not so surprising. I feel quite confident with what the audience comes up with.
All right, what I'm going to ask to do, thank you very much, is I'm going to ask you each in no more than a few sentences, instead of me doing it, to introduce yourselves, and then we will get stuck in. I have 2 rounds of questions for beautifully concise answers, and let's see where we can squeeze in your input. So literally, just a few words. Kate, starting with you, and then going down the line.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Kate Larkin, Head of Secretariat for EMODNet, which is the European Marine Observation and Data Network. This is an EC marine data service, a sister service to Copernicus Marine Service. And at the Secretariat, we work with the 120 partners, the experts in thematic data, to make sure that the EMODNet service is operational and that we're democratizing field observations into pan-European maps that can be used by all.
How, in one word, emotion today?
Curious and excited.
2 words, but good ones, so we'll take that. All right, Margarita.
My name is, thank you. My name is Margherita Cappelletto from the Italian Ministry of University and Research. I am coordinating the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership, a network of 29 countries that together with the European Commission are investing for about 450 million euros in 7 years to make an impact in transforming the blue economy.
Thank you, perfect. Thomas, over to you.
Thank you very much, Katrina, and good morning, everyone. A pleasure to be here. Thomas Klein is my name. I'm representing the Swedish Agency for Marine and Water Management, where I'm directing the Department for Environmental Analysis. And we are the responsible governmental agency tasked to protect, restore, and ensure the sustainable use of both marine and freshwater, also including fisheries management. And, well, when you have a mission, you, of course, can expect that one thing that we intend to get out of this is to really get the information we need to get the knowledge and for making the right decisions for the sustainable management of the oceans. I really hope that the DTO can help us with that.
Thank you very much. We have Carlotta and we have Marie-Laure. So, on we go. She needs to borrow your mic.
Hello. So I'm Carlotta. I'm a senior researcher and a project manager at the Foundation Marine Institute, a
Just a bit higher? No, you're okay. Can you hear at the back? Ah, perfect, they can. Beg your pardon.
So, and we are interested in introducing new sensors and technologies to understand biodiversity, and I'm here as scientific coordinator for Media Biofuel Project today.
Thank you very much. Marie-Laure.
So, hello everyone, I'm Marie-Laure from the Belgian University, so I'm Professor of Marine System Modeling, and I have been invited to be here on the part of the panel by Nicolas Sigebart. I'm a modeler, and I'm also part of the Scientific and Technical Advisory Committee of the Marine Copernicus Service.
Thank you very much. All right, so let me come back to, let me start with you actually, Marie-Laure. You have the mic, keep the mic. So we heard about you. You are an expert. You really have an expertise in modeling marine systems. So we're going to just do it in a very simple way. In what 2 or 3 ways really is that what we have seen, the EU DTO, what is the added value, and is there maybe one particular aspect that it would fundamentally change in a good way?
Yeah. So I guess that there are several keywords that we have to have in mind when we speak about this editor. It's really what would make very the difference is an unprecedented amount of information that would be available with a high quality, available in near real time, and which would serve to develop our models. So it's, I see 3 main different areas where it would be very useful. So in terms of data sharing, as a modeler, when I have to run the models needs a lot of data to run, but also to validate. You need very often to go to different places to find the right information to run your model. With editor, you will just have to go to one single places, and this is a keyword that I forgot, single places where you can find the information. And that would be very efficient when you are a modeler to find the information at a single place and to find the best quality information. Then, in terms, it's about the data. Then I also see a very huge impact in terms of model development, in terms of code sharing. So with this editor, it's not only data, but it's also developments of code by the community for the community. And these codes, they are testing by the community. And it means that as a modeler, if I want to use codes, I do not need to develop all of them from scratch, but I can go to editor and to find things that have been developed by my colleague, that has been tested by my colleague, and that has been well documented. So this is also a very important gain of time for model development. And then the last aspect that I see is really the dissemination and the communication of our model results. We all know that it's sometimes very difficult to make available the knowledge that we have from our models. And as a professor, I am teaching to young students. I am very proud also to show to them what Europe has achieved in terms of data sharing and in terms of modeling. And I can show them what's the problem. So what's warming, what's the oxygenation, what's happened, and what are the consequences, and what can be the solution. It's really to allow the people, the student, etc., to perceive what's happening, to feel the problem, to see animation as you have seen just previously. And then to finish, I also try to go from knowledge to solution, and in that frame, I have meeting with stakeholders, with people that want to use the results of my models. And there, it's much more convenient to go and at a single place and to see the results and to see what could be the consequence in advance of change that you do to the system. If you put some offshore wind farm in these places, what could be the consequences on biodiversity? And then you can change, you can discuss, and then you can more convince the people that your tools are useful. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And also for expressing yourself with such passion. It's very clear for you where the gains are. There's loads of quality data in one place. Codes have been tested. Maybe we don't have to reinvent the wheel. This possibility to share more. I like that, the way you said meet stakeholders. It can be very convivial. But also the fact that you can visualize those results. You don't just talk about them. You can explain them with students. Okay, so let's again hammer home. I mean, you are coming, you know, from the data place, okay? So you are right in the heart of it. You know, why is it so important, this marine data, for this platform? And you know, what's the impact? Let's just reiterate. And maybe something we haven't heard. Maybe if there's something that you didn't hear that you can bring to the table, great.
Okay, thank you. So we've heard already today and yesterday at the technical meeting the value and the potential that the European DTO has. And we have a lot of the technology already in place and developing to do so. But in order for the EU DTO to really be a game changer, we really need the right fuel to go into the system, and that is the observations and the data. And observations, ocean observations and the data are really the truth, you know, the baseline for this digital twin ocean. And this is why the two EC Marine Data Services, Copernicus Marine and EMODNet, have been already for years working together to deliver marine knowledge for Europe, but now they have strengthened the technical cooperation to deliver this common platform with data all in one place. So that's the first reason that I would mention, but then I give two examples. The second reason would be that we need marine data that is in as high resolution as possible. So that means data in, or many data in space and time. This is really critical for reducing the risk and the uncertainty. We already have this capability. So for example, EMODNet, the bathymetry, pan-European data layers are used to constrain, reduce the uncertainty in storm surge modeling. But with the DTO, I think there's unlimited, I should say, possibilities for natural hazard monitoring and prediction. And then the third reason I would give is about the diversity of the data. This can mean many different things, but in this context, I talk about the fact that we need data on all the different elements of the marine environment, surface to sea floor, coastal to open ocean, but also all the different elements within, but also critically connecting those with human activities data and now socioeconomic data. We already have, for example, the EMODNet seabed habitat map, which is a good example of integrating data from many different parameters. But once we link this with human activities data and socioeconomics in the DTO, I think, again, the possibilities are limitless.
Thank you, and thank you very much for underscoring that, because when I was looking at the animation, if you've watched the animation for this, this is a very particular point that's made near the end of the video clip, which is, let's just be clear, the data isn't just related. You said there, surface to seafloor, coastal to deep ocean, but also there's the societal, the economic data. We're also looking at the coastal communities and the human activities, which is the point. Let's link the two, not keep them separated. So it really is very diverse, the data. If we can build on that, Carlotta, but I mean, you know this is your daily bread, you know, modeling and models, it can only be good as the data that feeds them. So that's, you know, absolutely critical. Biological data, maybe not always, you know, tricky perhaps to gather, can be limiting that availability. You are part of the DTO Bioflow project. Perhaps you can just articulate briefly for us how it's going about kind of plugging those gaps.
So indeed, although there's huge volumes of data that have been mobilized in recent years via EMODNet or Eurobiz systems, we still see that there's a lot of biodiversity monitoring data that are still not finding their way into the systems. And in DTO Bioflow, what we are doing is analyzing the situation and establishing priorities for integration. And what we are mostly interested on, or one of our priority areas, is to actually bring biodiversity from new types of biodiversity monitoring systems. So new types of observations such as genomic data, plankton imaging, passive acoustic data, or biologging, animal biologging. And for this, it's all a bit not so clear, and
I did ask her to bring a prop. I asked them all if they wanted to bring a prop, and you are the bon élève, and you've done exactly that. Difficult to do this and explain, yes. But go ahead.
Sorry. So I bring this really as an example of the kind of technologies that we are working with. So this is one of the sensors that if you see on this toy animal. This orange sensor, it's really what we can use to collect and track information about the movements and the behavior of these animals. And all these technologies are able to produce data at very high spatial and temporal resolution, continuously, autonomously, and this is really the kind of information that we want if we want to be able to catch up with physical models and to be able to deliver digital replicas of biological systems.
And just to be, I mean, this perhaps is not going to be an answer that you will give now that might not be a surprise to the audience in the room or those of you online, but right at the start you say, listen, that biodiversity data is not going into the system. So what needs to be fixed to improve it? You talked about, you know, the areas you're going into in terms of the breadth of that data, but why is it not getting into the system?
Because of technical reasons. Currently, it's a lot of technologies that are very new, and they have all their specific tweaks, and there's limitations that these systems, they need to be adapted, and these data pipelines, they need to be built. So this is what we are also working on developing throughout the project.
Okay, thank you. Now we are all talking at what would you call it? Machine gun speed. Is that okay for you? I'm just checking, because I know they're all brilliant and they have a lot to say. Is it cool? We're all good? Give a nod of your head. We're cool with this energy this time? Brilliant, thank you. All right. Okay, Margherita, you said, you know, you're coordinating the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership. So this is, you know, got some hefty funding, co-funded initiative, member states and the EU supporting the development of the European blue economy. So why is this, you know, DTO a game changer? You know, one of 5 intervention areas for you is this. What makes your heart sing?
Thank you, and thanks again to the European Commission and the organizer for inviting the partnership today. First of all, I can confirm that the DTO is for us one of our intervention area. It is depicted in one of the flag of our logo, and this pin I brought from Rome for you.
Thank you.
I think it fits very well with the dress today, with the color that you have today. And allow me to read a bit of my notes in order to keep the time. Because it's important for us to explain why for the partnership the digital twin of the ocean is considered a game changer. The development and validation of the DTO at sub-basin scale is a multidisciplinary, long-lasting research and innovation activity that the partnership recognizes since the very beginning as a game changer in turning past, present and future knowledge into application based on stakeholders' requirements. It enables the definition of scenario both for marine environment and blue economy activities at the local level. Collection of relevant data, development of data-driven artificial intelligence models, test and validation of models prediction, technological development from digital system to new sensor. All of these, all what we heard till now has huge potential for impact. Let's look at what we aim as impact. We can consider the research and innovation realm, intelligent environmental monitoring system and new sensor technology. There's a lot to explore, as well as synergies between available data network. At the environmental level, planning and adaptation strategy, we could impact on this. And this is related to some of the policy. Let's take the marine strategy, for example, at the policy level. The impact on society, maybe the most important one. We could have better stakeholder engagement, including citizens, as was mentioned before, interinstitutional collaboration and investment. And last but not least, the economy. Higher use of intelligent decision support system by industry, municipalities, and coastal communities, as well as potential for circular business models. I quote the so-called quintuple helix model. So we need to take into account all this sector of society, and the DTO could have a big impact. And by reasoning into this chain of from input through outcomes until impact, we are in a way implementing what we call the theory of change. And this is something we require to our projects in the call for application that we launch, to really think, to really define how their specific activities and input will lead to this outcome. You have to think about it since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You have to think about things at the very beginning to
Yes, how you will impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. And lots of bits and pieces from your answer there, which also touched upon, you know, the decision-making, the policy-making leads me nicely. I mean, we've heard about it. Let's just perhaps put a little bit of the meat on the bones, Thomas, with you. So a reminder, Thomas Klein is from the Swedish Agency for Marine and Water Management, and one of the goals is of the DTO is to support all of these ocean actors in sort of very effective, let's use that word, effective decision-making, very innovative. How do you see this really making a difference to you in the decision-making processes in which you are engaged?
Yes, thank you, Katrina. When you work with the protection, restoration of coastal marine ecosystems in practice, and when you try to achieve that good ecological status that we want to have and trying to establish the basis for the sustainable blue economy, then one thing that you always start with is trying to assess the state of the environment, the oceans, looking at the different pressures that are out there, looking at the impacts of these and how these change over time. And I think this is information that we can get directly in the best possible way from the DTO. So DTO will provide us with the best possible assessment of the state. And when that is in place, then you can think about measures, interventions. What can we do to improve the state? What can we do to make the use of the environment, the oceans, more sustainable? And here I think that DTO will help us and many actors to both plan, design, implement, and follow up concrete measures that help us to provide more sustainable use. And concrete examples were mentioned this morning already. For instance, if you think about the design, the location of a marine protected area, so then you can get this information. You can do on-demand modeling, what-if analysis with the DTO. You can also look at, with the help of the DTO, how ecosystems will develop over time. Will they be able to deliver the ecosystem services that we want to have under different climate change scenarios? So this is very concrete. And of course, nature-based solutions are very, very critical when it comes to climate change adaptation. Very concrete use cases, I would say, where we expect the DTO to help us with the concrete work. And the third area I would like to mention, which really is key. We heard several of our distinguished speakers this morning. The DTO is for the scientific community, for the decision makers, but at the end of the day, it's for the European citizens. It's for all of us. So when we have that in place, then we can use the DTO as a tool for communication, for building a shared understanding. We all see what's going on in the environment. We see what causes it, but we can also see what solutions are on the table. And when you have that feeling there are solutions, there are things that we can do, then there is a spirit of hope, then there is confidence, then there is commitment to the process. And then we are actually taking the first step towards sustainable action.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing it. I mean, that's so important, that spirit of hope, because it's a bit of a struggle these days sometimes to hang on to that spirit of hope. There's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't feel tremendously hopeful. So thank you for bringing that in. And when you were speaking, I thought about something. I mean, Kate, you were there 2 days ago at JPI Oceans, and we did talk about the challenges. It was one of the issues that we were grappling with in individual groups at the end. How do you get policymakers into the room? How do you go there? And what strikes me about this particular, you know, the EU DTO is that you are in effect, because it is such a shared resource among such diverse stakeholders, it is a mechanism for bringing the policymaker closer to the citizen. Both are using this, but also, you know, policymakers are rammed with demands and information. This is a great way to get them to see where there is an added value for them. So really interesting. I'm just going to check. I can't see. Nicola might be able to help me. I can't see if there's anything on Slido because goodness knows I was on a poll, so you might be able to have to run up there and ask them to get it onto the page in case there are any Slido questions. Are we good to carry on, or does anyone have a burning question that needs to be asked now for one of these speakers? Or are we good There's just one more round. I would like to enable them to unpack their brilliance a little bit more. So if it's all good with you, okay, sounds great. First of all, before I do, anything that you, there we are. Anything, while we just have a look, and you've also got them, you don't have them on your screen there, that you would want to pick up on or comment on very briefly from your fellow panelists? You want to pick up on something here? Yeah, great. Go for it, please, Marie-Laure. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I see the first question, how are the models validated? Yeah. So it's something that will be taken into account in Edito. So the quality of the model will be communicated to the users, and the protocol of validation would be very clear. So it means that the user know what they are using. It would be very transparent.
Okay. We talked about data. I don't know if you want to pick up on, well, indeed, it is for you. It says it doesn't include much on socioeconomic data. It's essential. So how are we going to get more of it? How is it going to be integrated?
Yep, so eModNet works very closely with other EU assets, so for example, Copernicus Marine Service, but I haven't mentioned yet the European Blue Economy Observatory, which also brings together a lot of socioeconomic data. So eModNet's core mandate is the marine environmental data and human activities, but as we become more interoperable and our data can work across different domains, I think this is the exciting part, that the DTO will bring together not only Copernicus Marine and eModNet, but other EU assets and other sources of data. Mm-hmm. And that's something that when we were talking about the diversity of data, the key thing here is how it works together, the interoperability. And this is when I'm wishing I'd brought my kids' Lego set with me, because this is quite a nice analogy. If you imagine like wooden blocks going into Lego that can connect together, and we're now on the market seeing magnetic Lego, that really you can build really nice designs and really connect different types of blocks together. And I think that's exactly what having data that works together across different domains is all about.
Thank you. Anyone who hasn't spoken, maybe who hasn't answered the three in the middle? There is the rose there. Thomas is the rose between thorns, or the thorn between the five roses, I don't know. But, I mean, ocean literacy. Does anyone want to make a comment on this, the progress in ocean literacy to pinpoint? Any thoughts? Yeah, Thomas, do you want to come in first and then come back to Kate, and then I will move to some more questions and we'll hold those thoughts. Okay.
Yeah, yes, as I mentioned, I think DTO will really help us with this, will help us to build an ocean literacy that we maybe don't have yet. I mentioned the need to build shared understanding. We all are dependent on the ocean. When we see what's going on, we have the shared picture, and when we have the spirit, we can do something about it. It's our collective responsibility that then we really can profit from DTO in this area as well.
Okay. And did you want to just add there, Kate, just briefly to that question of ocean literacy?
Quickly on that I think the more dashboards, applications we have that are really for the citizens and that they can contribute data into it as well, they will start seeing the value, and then we'll start having dashboards for sort of education and ocean literacy on top.
Okay. And just sort of a clarification, is it one twin or a set of federated? Well, we're going to look at the interoperability aspect in the second panel. Marie-Laure, yes. Can you borrow a... Thomas, you need to hand over the microphone. But that was good. You were concentrating so hard, you didn't realize you had it. Yes.
Yes, so thank you for the question, because I guess it's very important. It is one twin. It's not a federated federated combination of twin. It's really one twin, which means that there is a complete homogeneity in the quality control procedure of the data. So it means that a user that would like to have the data from Edito, he will know how it has been quality checked and how it has been quality flagged. It would be done in the same way, so whatever the data he is using. So that's very important, and it makes the life of the user very easy, much easy compared to the case where you go to different twin, and the different twin has adopted different quality control procedures of the data, of the model, etc. So this question is very important, and that's very important to understand that it's really coordination of the quality control. So one twin, yeah.
Okay, and then we'll park it for now with Slido. But just this is because the door is open there. But of course, we are going to talk more about it when we come to the interoperability panel. But this collaboration, there are other digital twins out there. We're going to hear a bit more about Destiny actually later, so that question will be answered. But I mean, does anyone just want to say some real top-line answers to that, or we can? Yeah, Marie-Laure.
Yes, so I can just say a few words about the collaboration with Destiny. So when Edito is framed, so when the infrastructure, so Edito Infra is conceived, it's to, in the same time they have in mind the Destiny. So it has been done in collaboration with Destiny just to be sure that it would be aligned afterwards with Destiny, because this is a further step that will again enhance the the portability of Edito, the power of Edito. It's when it will be integrated with Destiny, and then you will have information not only on the ocean, but also on the atmosphere, on the land, etc. And this is also something that you have to have in mind when you build this Edito, but that's done.
All right, one more. Thomas, can you come back on? Oh, did you want to come in on that? I was going to ask you perhaps about this issue about the decision makers. You know, whoa, look at that, so much data. Is it accurate? Does it make people feel uncertain? Where? I was going to ask you to come back on that question.
Yeah, sure. I think we will rely on the data coming from DTO to be timely, reliable, and relevant. I think this is what DTO will provide us with, and we are very confident that we will get this data. But I would like to come back on the question on the DTO in relation to other twins of other Earth system compartments, because let's not forget, the ocean is very important on its own, but it's also part of the Earth as a bigger system. And when we are concerned with the ocean health, then we see that very much of what happens in the ocean is dependent to what we do on land. We see this every day. We were talking about plastic pollution. We had a very great example this morning, but the sources of plastic pollution are actually on land. And this also holds when it comes to the excess input of nutrients that come from land activities such as agriculture, forestry, and then they contribute to algal blooms, eutrophication, and oxygen depletion in the ocean, harming marine life. So these connections are very, very important. And I'm also very happy that we will have something in the afternoon on this, how the DTO can be developed on its own, but how it will be able to, how we can integrate it with other digital twins of other Earth system components.
Okay, let me park it there. If we can lose from the screen, just Slido for a moment, maybe put up these nice speakers' faces. All right, we will come back momentarily because I'd like to just give you a chance to you have prepared and there are more things to say. Shall I start with you, Margarita, just trying to hear a little bit of a balance where voices have been quieter. I think the important question to ask, obviously, is how do you see the contribution of the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership to the DTO? I mean, what extra value is it going to bring, both if we're talking sort of sectoral but also very local applications? Again, just a couple of minutes would be brilliant.
Yes, in line with the overall partnership approach of thinking global and acting local, the complementarity to the mission Digital Twin of the Ocean and Edito lies precisely in the local, I said that before, sub-sea basin approach. Making it possible realistic test and validation as well as cross-basin fertilization and opening up the opportunity to create with the European DTO a portfolio of projects. Yesterday at the technical workshop, 2 of our granted projects of the first call launched in 2023, namely the DTO animal track coordinated by Ireland and Arcfish on the DTO for Arctic fisheries coordinated by Norway were invited to the technical workshop. We look forward to populate this portfolio to ensure that the results of our project feed in the data lake of DTO. We have promising numbers of pre-proposal of our second joint call on DTO. So let's continue. And I believe that this answers also a little bit the question on the socioeconomic data on slide 2, because it's really about looking local at the feasibility of the whole process. I think that at the local level you can really see where the socioeconomic data are. You have the agency authorities that pick them up. So let's start from there.
Thank you. I'm going to jump back to Carlotta, if I may, and because we're talking, specifics, we're talking applications. Let's look at applications, but particularly in the domain, the biodiversity. You talked about where the challenges of the data coming in. So if there is, you know, a high added value application that could be developed, particularly covering some of those gaps that are there, what would you envisage? What would be your dream application that you think could be of real value?
I think an application with a lot of value would be to be able to have adaptive offshore construction and energy harvesting. So being able to plan and adapt based on the ecological knowledge that we have of the marine systems. For example, if we have data of the movements of fish and marine mammals, we could be able to adapt to the timings when such certain areas or certain periods are less important for these organisms, so we can build this into a more sustainable blue economy. It will allow us to improve on the marine spatial planning and how we use the resources. But for this, it is essential that we have this kind of data because there are no barriers in the ocean. So there's no limitations from countries. We need to have an integrated vision across Europe and even internationally to be able to deliver this data. And this is also one of the demonstration use cases that we are trying to work with within DTO Bioflow. And I think that if we manage to achieve this and mobilize this kind of data at a larger level, it will be really, really beneficial for industry and for policy.
Okay, thank you. So you are working on it. So you've got this vision, but you are working towards it, and it's added value. Let's just stay with that and come back to you for a last question, Marie-Laure. Very much on this, you know, here we are at the start. We heard there's been this furious amount of dedicated activity for 2 years. We know that we've got this 2030 kind of unveiling the big reveal. So more work towards two, maximum 3 main areas where you think the focus should be really oriented.
Yes, so I speak about the big data that would be available for a central place. And I guess that this is a real opportunity to engage with the data science community. So for development of data-driven approach combined with a classic modeling approach, what we call hybrid approach. I guess this is really the opportunity that I would like to see in the next 2 years. We start to do that already, but I guess that the fact that we have this edito with big data available from a central place will really promote the interest of the data science the data scientists. So we are not so much successful to engage with the informatician, with the data scientists. No, it's really the time to do that. In terms of code sharing, so I speak about that, it's very important, and I guess that 10 years ago we were about sharing of data. We speak about fair data, and I guess that now we have to speak about fair code, fair model codes. It means codes that would be available, fairly available, so which you can find, that are accessible, interoperable, and that the user can reuse afterwards with a lot of documentation. And then my third point concerns the engagement of the community. So I guess that here, with the edito, we have enlarged the stakeholders of the ocean. So we are not only speaking about the scientists to the end users, dealing with ocean science, we are also speaking with a larger community. And so I mentioned, for instance, the data scientists, but we can also speak about human science people. We are requested to do that since many years, but we have to confess that it's sometimes difficult. And I guess that here, with this edito, with this information available from a single place, it's possible now to engage with a more diverse community. And that's really the wish that I would like to see in the next 2 years, and I guess that it's completely feasible with what we have now. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to say, I'm going to hear the last 2 interventions. I will close then for lunch. That doesn't mean, are you all staying for lunch? Okay, so sorry for those of you online who aren't here and can't engage in a conversation with these speakers, but if there are any outstanding questions, and don't forget what I said, outstanding questions in Slido will be answered after the event, so you don't, this is a unique event, you don't have to go away frustrated for that. Right, if I might come to Kate, I mean, exploiting data by and for society, if there is an element in this conversation that you haven't heard in terms of bringing further societal value. I mean, we split things up. We say there's, you know, the social, there's the economic. You know, you're the expert. It's all overlapping. But if we really want to pinpoint, you know, the societal value that it can bring to ocean observing, what would you pinpoint?
Yes, so I would pick up again on this need for the diverse data for integrated ocean knowledge, and I think this will allow many diverse applications. If we take European policy, for example, I'd like to see that the European DTO could enable more regular and realistic assessments of environmental health of the ocean, a good environmental status that would support decision makers for Marine Strategy Framework Directive. But you can also imagine if you bring human activities and marine environment and socioeconomic data together and have dashboards for marine spatial planning to make that more climate smart and more future fit. And then I think if you look at society as well, you imagine the education dashboards that I was mentioning, that I think once society starts to see the value, then they will really invest more in ocean observing. And I think this is also about showing applications that ocean observations and data are not just for assessing environment, but they're actually supporting the health and the wealth and the safety of citizens themselves. And I think that will drive the sort of demand for the ocean observing and marine data which we need for the DTO.
And if you, I mean, you spoke there, Marie-Laure, you said with students you are able to sort of visually, you're able to communicate model results. If I, you know, I'm going to wait a bit, but if I go on this with my, she is now 13-year-old, you know, here's me, your average citizen in the EU, how user-friendly am I going to find it? Am I going to be able to navigate my way around? I mean, we talked, there came a question for policymakers there, you know, what do you think?
So I think this is what is coming next. This is what is exciting about today, because we have the technical backbone, we have all the models coming together in one place, all the data that works together in one place, and now we need to see how we bring in these user requirements, bring in citizens themselves, bring in the policymakers, the blue economy, and then have projects like all of the stakeholders in the room to not only share your data, but also develop the applications on top, which will be really fit for use.
Yeah, and I think there is definitely, I mean, there is definitely this understanding that you want users to feed back so that you can have an understanding of what works, what doesn't, what's missing, what could be more user-friendly and, you know, real life applicable. All right, last question. Again, this kind of future focus a little bit on this. You know, a game changer is only a game changer if it evolves with time and keeps pace with that. So, you know, what about the end user in marine decision making? What perhaps couple of things, you know, are the next place we need to be looking?
Yes, thank you. Firstly, I would like to say I fully agree with what my panel colleagues said on the scientific parts and the infrastructure parts. But from an end-user perspective, what's really needed now is to focus on user uptake, I would say, and to really demonstrate concrete solutions to real-world problems, and there are loads of them. We saw some examples this morning, but there's more to that. The Swedish Agency for Marine and Freshwater is currently compiling an analysis of all the aquatic monitoring requirements that are out there, based on our mission, but also based on the policies that we collectively set as the European Union, all the directives and such. So on this list we have 500 marine and coastal data and knowledge needs, 500. And there's no way on earth that we can do this efficiently and effectively as a single member state. So the only way to do this properly is by European collaboration and by using and taking stock of the best possible infrastructure that's out there, and that's going to be the DTO. And if the DTO succeeds and helps us with that, that will really be the game changer for us.
Okay, thank you so much. Single sentence reply before I close. What one thing, so each of you, I mean a sentence, not a paragraph, because a sentence is better. I can start with you, Thomas, if you like. What one thing would you ask, you know, any stakeholder, all stakeholders to share, to do, to think about, to make sure it's now going into this next stage, that you know, the big reveal, that there is this evolution, that the applications are going to be integrated? What do you want those stakeholders to do to make sure that it is the game changer that it is currently and that it will be?
Okay.
One sentence.
Yes. Well, user uptake, as I said, bring the intended end users on board. That would be me, I'm one of them. And talk to the users, demonstrate the concrete solutions to the users' problems. And I'm personally reaching out a hand today to the DTO community, and we'll be happy to engage in a further discussion on that after our panel on how the DTO can help the Swedish Agency for Marine and Water Management on delivering solutions for a sustainable management of our oceans. So as I said, I have 500 use cases on my list, so your help is very much appreciated.
A long sentence for a German Swede, but a good one. And it's always good to do a reach out. You want to come next? Yes, Margarita.
Yes, thanks. Echoing and supporting a lot what Marilo said previously, also with passion, being teaching also in her working life. If I have to choose one thing, I think that the DTO will never be a game changer if we do not think very carefully and invest on the skills that we need.
On
the skills that we need.
The skills that we need.
This means
To
training.
nourish
this
it
means
and to exploit
cross-discipline, yes.
Right.
We need.
Okay, Kate, you nodded, but what would you say?
So I would invite all of you in the room, but also online, all the community to share your data, first of all, get in contact with EMODNet and Copernicus Marine Service, so we get that integrated marine knowledge base for the DTO. And secondly, log in. Test the system, really test the technical features. A lot of you have a lot of experience in that, but also give your user requirements, and then we can really evolve as quickly as possible the system.
Fabulous. And if it doesn't work, if you log in and it just doesn't work, you can just email Kate or Pierre anytime. Pick up the phone. She doesn't mind. Okay, Carlotta. Yep.
I would say share your data, because it's always more valuable and it can serve more purposes than the application that you originally collected it for. So for me, I reach to people to share their data and to also to propose what kind of applications would be of interest for them. It's still early, we can still change things and develop as needed. So.
And think carefully about, as Margarita said, what are those applications? What do we want to be solving? Let's be really precise. And last word to you, Marie-Laure.
Yes, I have two sentences. So first, contribute to this wonderful initiative. So contribute is also very important. And as example, I'm considering being a stakeholder of the EDITO, and each project that I would develop will contribute to the EDITO. So I will think about that before writing the project. So the project will be co-designed to contribute to the EDITO and to make all my students aware of this wonderful European initiative.
Thank you very much. So first of all, can you give warm applause to these fabulous speakers? We have a break now. Now, for those of you online, I'm going to ask you just to keep, we're not going to take as long as is foreseen in the program, so don't go too far from your computer, your laptop, okay? Keep an eye for the coming back. We will herd you like cats when you need to come back. It won't be an hour and 25 minutes. It will be a bit less than that, but you have plenty of time to eat and tweet and do whatever it is. But please, please, hang on, go. Don't walk by the exhibition without being interested. There are people, there is a program of people giving presentations. If your brain can take it, please go and have a listen. That's very, very important, all right? Remember, you can go and have a demo of the prototype. As important, we'll see you back here just after 1:30, I would say, perhaps 1:40, all right? But thank you so much. You've listened a lot. You deserve a break. Go and take it. See you soon. Thank you very much.